Well, hello, darlings, and welcome back to Pass or Smash, new makeup edition. So, here on Pass or Smash, we talk about new makeup releases, primarily indie brand launches, and we decide if we want to pass, as in buy bitch, or smash, add to cart. So, if you're new here, hi, my name is Liz. Hey, I'm a makeup enthusiast, and yeah, we're going to talk about new makeup releases. So, let's hop right into it because, you know, there's a lot. Well, there's a moderate amount with a lot of information, if that makes sense. So, first up, BellaBeauteBar releasing the Basic Witch palette here. It is a 15-pan palette with 9 mattes, 4 shifty multichromes, 2 of which are holochromes, interesting, and 2 duochromes. It's like pinks and purples. There's that nice little pop of bright green, and it looks like a yellow pan, and that shade Cauldron I think is really interesting. I'm thinking that's a multichrome, that little blue shade there. I don't know, I'd be really interested to see how this palette goes. For me, I'm on the fence about this one, okay? Because, I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. I think I would rather have their Strange and Unusual palette. And I think that's why I keep looking at this, because it's also purples, it's also pops of green, and I just think the Strange and Unusual is just a little bit more interesting. So I think I'm gonna say pass on this one. They've had some real interesting color stories lately, but I think this one, I don't know, I think this one's gonna be a pass. So they also, oh, by the way, that palette is $65. It is gonna be launching on Wednesday, September 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, pass. They're also sneak peeking a new palette featuring the art of Justin O'Neill. So if you don't know who Justin O'Neill is, they're an artist that does really spooky, kind of witchy artwork. Here's an example of it right here on the cover of the upcoming palette. There's not a color story or anything yet. It's just called the Deinfluenced palette. But yeah, I'm curious what that's going to be. But I love it when these indie brands when they work with an established artist and they pay for the artwork and they get to use the color, the cover design. I just think it's really cool. And I think it's really interesting to see their artwork on that. So that's awesome. A+. Good job, BellaBeauteBar. So we'll see about that one soon enough. All right. By the way, as always, because I always fucking forget until I get through at least 1 or 2 items. All of my information today comes from either Trend Mood, the individual brands, or their websites, or my Makeup Radar on Instagram. So unless I say something else or make a note of it, that's where the information comes from. And as always, I will have all of the details, any savings codes that I can find you guys will be in the description box. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, as much information as I can find will be in there, okay? I got y'all. So, all right, the next one's a little bit different, okay? So there's a really interesting, what's the word I'm looking for? Attachment brand that I follow on Instagram. It's called Manic Gems, and they do these really fun, sometimes it's music themed, sometimes it's, whatever. And it's basically all the little sparkles that you glue on your face or that you would use in nail art. It's that kind of stuff, and it's called Manic Gems. And they have a new collab coming. So they have a collab with bydougie on Instagram, or Doogie, D-O-U-G-I-E. So I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And it is the Faerie Spellbook collab. So there's these fun little wing pieces that you can glue to your eyes if you're going for that whole fairy core aesthetic. I know some people hate it when you say aesthetic. I went down a whole rabbit hole on Reddit earlier, but listen, it is what it is, okay? You don't have to like the word, but it is fucking there. So, so there is a rhinestone pack, which has all these fun little baubles and droplets and butterflies, that kind of stuff. It looks like a little tackle box of sparkles. There's also magical droplets. I actually think these are the most interesting. They look like little dewdrops. And Pixie Gray Flowers, Pixie, and then there's 2 Pixie Dust pigments, which are sparkly loose pigments. So yeah, it's an interesting collection. If you're somebody who likes that kind of look, if you like the whole fairy core thing, yeah, I think it's so fun that people just get to live their best fantasy lives here. But yeah, so honestly, if money were no object, smash. Like, I don't know if I could spend $68 on the whole collection, but I might pay $27 for the tackle box of all the glue-on stuff because that kind of thing lasts me forever. I think it's fun and smart to get the little rhinestone ones off of Amazon or off of Temu, whatever, because they're inexpensive. But like specialty type stuff, I think it's fun to have some of that in my collection. So I would say smash. We'll just say smash on the collection as a whole. Now the collection is launching on September 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh, excuse me, I bumped it. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. Well, it says 9 a.m., but it doesn't say what time zone. So may the odds be ever in your favor. So yeah, that is gonna be that. I'm gonna say smash. I think it's fun, especially the little like dew droplets. There's just, I don't think I've seen any face gems that are like that. Have you? If you have, will you like comment below and let me know? Because I haven't seen anything like that, and I think it's really cute. It's super cute. But anyway, smash. Okay. So Davina, but creative people out here. I love it. So Davina Cosmetics actually has a really interesting launch. So they have a 2-part launch. So if you remember previously, they launched their Mystic Cove and their Sea of Shadows collections. Now these are loose single shadows. And there was six shadows in the Mystic Cove collection, and they're all sparkly multi-chrome shifty shades. And there were 7 in the Sea of Shadows collection. Well, they're doing a shade expansion, and they're taking a really interesting approach to it. So for the Mystic Cove shade expansion, they're releasing 3 new shades and a magnetic palette with the theme, like the artwork theme. So these shades are only going to be available as a bundle right now. And they come with the magnetic palette. So there's 3 shifty shades in the Mystic Cove collection for $48 with the magnetic palette. And like I said, these are not available as singles right now. That may change in the future, but it's really smart. So if you already have the Mystic Cove collection, you could just get the shade expansion and you would be able to pop your singles into that magnetic 9-pan palette, and it would be a cohesive palette. So as somebody like myself, I struggle to use my single shadows. I love having them, but I struggle to use them. I never know when to reach for them, and I find having things in a palette format much easier. So when you have something like this, where everything is together in one place and it just makes a cohesive 9-pan all shimmer palette, I think it's really smart. It's a very smart launch in my opinion. So yeah, absolutely smash. Absolutely smash. And then the second part of that is the Sea of Shadows expansion, which is here. And there are 2 new like blue shades. There's like a lighter, more true ocean blue kind of a color. And then there's also kind of like that brighter, I don't want to call it Caribbean blue, but you know, for lack of a better word, that's what comes to mind. It kind of reminds me of like the Mediterranean, but that's here. And that shift, now the Sea of Shadows collection was less expensive, okay? So that collection is actually, for the 2 shades and the palette, is going to be $18, which is pretty good. And then you will be able to get the entire collection. So say you don't have any of them, you can actually get the Mystic Cove collection on pre-order, and the entire collection is $132, and that actually saves you, let me look it up. The full collection is on pre-order for $132. I think it saves you like $30, if I remember correctly. And then the Sea of Shadows collection, which is more moderately priced, that full collection of 9 shades and the palette is $63.60, which is a 23% savings. If I did the math right, a little over 23%. So now neither of these collections are code eligible because they are already bundle priced. You will not be able to use a code. But if you want to use a code, I have a discount code. It's not affiliated, so I don't make a kickback. But I do have a discount code for you. It's GARDEN right here. And you can use that if you want to get some matte shades or an empty palette, like that kind of stuff, you know, like stuff that's not part of a sale or a bundle, you know. But anyway, smash. Absolutely, I will be picking these up at some point. But yeah, I just think it's a really smart, really interesting launch. And I'm really happy to see it because it's thinking outside of the box. And I appreciate the hell out of that. So, smash. Okay, so new Nomad Cosmetics. Now, if you remember, they've been sneak peeking. They've been doing their usual guessing game, their usual hints. And if you guessed Ghost Towns USA, you would be correct. Ooh, fanfare. You would be correct. So every year, well, I shouldn't say every year, but the last couple of years they've done a Halloween launch. And this is one from a couple years ago. Now, I don't think they did one, I guess they did a fall release last year, which was like their Harvest palette, or what's it called? Hudson Valley palette. And I think the year before that, it was this one, which is the Haunted Europe palette. Now, just like this palette, it has the lenticular packaging, so it changes. So on this palette here, on their new Ghost Towns palette, it actually shifts from like the regular ghost town to being a spooky ghost town, which is very cute. I love that. I love it. Now, a lot of people were saying that the color stories were similar. So Haunted Europe and this new palette were similar. And I actually don't agree at all. I don't agree at all. So here is the new Nomad Cosmetics color story for the Ghost Town palette, Ghost Town USA palette. Well, it's hard for me to say that. So these we have cool tone mattes and gritty greens is how they're described. Browns, you have dusty blues and precious metal metallics. So there's a silver, there's, let's see, there's copper garnet, which I thought was an interesting thing because garnet's not a metal, but you know, whatever works for you. Bronze, silver, and by the way, do you know what bronze is? By the way, I Googled it because my uneducated self, actually no, I'm educated enough. I couldn't remember what the alloy, so bronze is an alloy and it is copper and tin. The more you know, because knowledge is power. So anyway, so these mining towns, these ghost towns were mining towns. And so I thought it was really cute, like kind of nod to that they included things like a copper shade and bronze. Bronze was kind of a stretch for me. But it is an alloy of two metals that were mined in some of these towns. So I was like, okay, that's kind of a stretch for me. But like, I get it, right? There was no gold shade in the palette, which I felt was a little weird because some of the mining towns are, you know, gold. But, you know, they've done gold in a couple of palettes recently. So like, I get wanting to put a distance between that. But now I look at this and I think of... Let's finish the comparison first before my brain goes off on all kinds of other tangents. So this is the Haunted Europe palette here. And then here's the new Nomad Cosmetics palette there. I think the color stories are very different. You still have like kind of, you know, greens and all that, but they are very different. So in case you were wondering how they are side by side, they're very different, okay? So... that said, it is the same size. It's 18 pans, and how I like to think of this as two 9-pan palettes next to each other. So on the left-hand side, you have more neutrals. You have those pinky garnet type shades. You have those coppers. Those are on the left-hand side, that left-hand 9-pan section. And then on the right-hand side, you have those green shades, which... any excuse for a green shade. And then you also have those dusty blue colors. Now, when you have things like this, it's important for those colors to all be able to work together. And I think they really successfully did that with this palette. I don't feel like it was as successful with the Love and Death palette, which was their Valentine's release. I think that palette didn't completely work because there was a lot of reds. And then there was like a beautiful 9-pan green, like blue section, right? But this actually works really well because those neutrals and those dusty blues and greens are gonna play beautifully together. And I think the coppers with the blues is gonna be stunning. I can't wait to put it on my eyelids. So yeah. Now, this palette is formulated with prickly pear oil, which is kind of a nod to the region. And I had to Google it because I did not know what the cosmetic implications of prickly pear oil are. But apparently, we're reading from Captain Google here. Prickly pear cactus oil is rich in vitamin K and in skincare works to minimize broken capillaries. brighten and lighten dark circles. It acts as a defense against hyperpigmentation, and its replenishing properties leave skin soft and smooth. That's from Google. So, do I think that's going to have any impact on the shadow? Very skeptical about that, but it does say it was formulated with prickly pear cactus seed oil to help keep formulas fresh on your eyes, even in those dusty ghost towns. Again, I'm not sure what that implication is for your eyeshadow, if that means they're more putty-like, because it does say that there is a new soft to the touch magnetic metallic shimmer formula. So what that says to me is almost like putty shimmer. So I'm really curious about how that's going to perform on the eyes, especially for somebody like me who has lots of creases. So like this is Davina, and these did not, no primer, didn't crease at all. So I'm curious about how this formula is gonna perform on the eyelids, because their last palette, there was like Okavango. There were some shades that were kind of harder pressed, and I think this is a correction for that kind of performance. So I'm really curious to see Smash. We're gonna Smash. Fuck yes. I don't go for cool tones a lot, but when I do, it's these kind of cool tones. And honestly, it's like greens and like dusty blues, and yes, put it on my eyeballs. Well, not technically on my eyeballs, but on my eyelids. So, Smash. And it is cruelty-free and vegan. It is $49, and it is launching August 29th at midnight. So, Eastern Standard Time. So, guess you gotta stay up late like us, because it's like almost midnight now when I'm filming. So, Smash. Okay. I feel like that was a really winded breakdown, but listen, there's been a lot of build-up for this palette, okay? And I got excited, and then I realized I could just keep adding like random facts in there all about these. I could do like breakdowns of the mining towns and like why this shade is appropriate for that. I sometimes I do that on tangents, so I didn't this time, and you're welcome. Okay, so Beauty Bay is sneak peeking a new palette. So there's only a few shades that they've revealed so far, but here's a little montage. Well, montage, it's like a little grid of the Rich palette. So the format of this is kind of giving me face palette vibes. So I'm really kind of curious about that. So they've revealed 3 shades of it. One is called Shiraz, like the wine. One is Coca, and the other is Pearl. But the Pearl shade is kind of flat, and it makes me almost think highlighter. So I'll be very curious to see what goes on with this. Beauty Bay. Wow. Beauty Bay has a beautiful eyeshadow formulation, in my experience, especially the newer palettes, has a beautiful formulation. It's magnificently priced. It's so affordable. Especially for the amount of colors that you normally get in one of their palettes. They normally have like a 20 pan or a 16 pan palette or more. So I think they just kill it with that formula. So I'm really curious about this. It's giving me face palette vibe, like, you know, it's giving me face palette. So we'll see. I could be wrong. It happens. But I like to think I have pretty good spidey sense. So we'll see. Okay. Inslee Rain is sneak peeking the artwork anyway for their Harvest Moon palette. Here's it. I just love their aesthetic. I hope that they never stop making moon and mushroom theme artwork. And yeah, I just love it. It's basically like forest core, and I just love it. I hope they never stop. So that'll be coming soon enough. I'm sure we'll get sneak peeks of the color stories here soon. Otherwise, it's been kind of mum's the word, you know? And lastly, Profusion Cosmetics has a Walgreens exclusive collection. Here is featuring Casper the Friendly Ghost. How cute is that? So it's nostalgia for me because, you know, I was born in like the mid-'80s, and I grew up with watching these movies, and I had such a girl crush on like Christina Ricci and on, oh God, what was his name who played Casper? I don't know. He was fine. And so, you know, for me, it's nostalgia. So there's a cute little sponge duo here. They're like little ghosty sponges, which, you know, I'm here for. Teresa's dead said that she would never open them, that she would never use them. And I'm like, I will fucking destroy those. I will put them on my face and I will use them. And I will cherish them while I use them. So there's also a little 3-piece brush set. Take it or leave it. Like, I don't think they're particularly special, but, you know, they're interesting. They have a bent handle, which is different. There's a little makeup bag, which is not really my bag, but whatever. There's a cute little Casper mirror, which I like that idea. I'm awful at using my hand mirrors. I just am. I wish I was better about it, but I'm not, so we'll see. I think it's really cute, though. It would be for nostalgia only. And then there's also a face primer and setting mist duo, which makes a lot of sense for the collection. And a highlighter, like there's 2 highlighters. So I think, honestly, it's a really smart, like, cute little nostalgia collab. There's no eyeshadow palette or, like, color products, but he's a ghost. And no coloration on that ghost. He's just like a little white blob. So, you know, it's a smart collab, I think, personally. And I like that it's restrained. Like, it doesn't have, like, a bunch of stuff. So I appreciate it. So we'll say smash. Smash, because it's cute. All of it? Nah, I'm not going to get all of it. But if I come across those little makeup sponges, I'll pick up ghosty sponges. And that's it, my darlings. If you made it this far, will you leave me like a little ghosty emoji? Because why the fuck not? And I love your faces. If you like Pass or Smash, please like and subscribe, all of that jazz. I actually just broke 500 followers. So, well, subscribers. So that's really cool. And if you're new here, hi. Thanks for being here. I love your faces. Until next week, I will catch you later. All right, bye.